Welcome to the Wedco podcast, where wedding wisdom meets street smarts.
We're dishing out all the tips, tricks, and wedding goss to take your wedding to the next level.
Time to ditch the formalities and get this party started. Hello, I'm Togger.
And I'm Joel, and we are here at the beautiful Kwila Lodge today.
And today we have Amanda on the podcast with us. Welcome, Amanda.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks
for
so much
having me.
Yeah, and thank you for having us here at this beautiful venue. It's stunning.
My pleasure.
So nice. Joel and I, we've shot many weddings here over the years, like back when Eco Studio Fellini. So to see what it's been transformed into, I would have been here maybe a few years ago, would have been the last time I was here. And I walked into the doors today and I was like, okay.
I hope you think we've done it justice.
Yeah, definitely. It's amazing.
Good.
It's like I've seen on the like Insta stories and stuff of like the bathrooms, and I said to Togo, I was like, oh, the bathrooms are beautiful. Let's go in there. I was like, can we set up in the bathroom?
I'm sure a few people at every wedding will.
Yeah, definitely. No, it's beautiful. What you've done here is incredible. So.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Maybe do you want to just maybe introduce yourself? And I guess we'd love to hear the story of how Kwila came to be.
Sure.
The background story of that would be amazing.
The long or the short version?
Go long.
Okay.
Let's do it.
So,
shorten it up.
You can tell me to be quiet. It's okay. Yes, my name's Amanda Appel. I'm one of the co-owners here at Kwila Lodge.
Mm-hmm.
It is a recent endeavour born out of, I suppose, a refinement process from our previous venue. So my sister and I run a company and we operate the Bower Estate. We have partnered for some time, many years, with a company called Ridgeway Catering Group, run by Daniel Ridgeway and Ruggie Ridgeway. And we loved working with them so much, we just decided to go all in and get a venue with them. And this is what we're sitting in today.
Yeah, that's great.
We're still not done, but I think if anyone's listening and thinks, oh, let's make a venue, it's never done. So don't do that for if you want to get in and get out.
It's a glamoured job, I feel, or a glamoured thing to do. I feel like it's just like, oh yeah, it'd be so good to have like a wedding venue. And you're just like, don't.
Yeah, it's not glamorous. I deal a lot in septic and there are a lot of non-glamorous parts of my job. Yes.
Yeah.
And so I might go to the Bower just for 1 second.
Sure.
So when you started the Bower, had that been a wedding venue before you set that up for weddings?
No.
Okay.
So the history of that property is it was a dairy farm.
Yep.
And then it was purchased by a lovely couple who wound up the dairy and spent their retirement years out there, putting a lot of love into the land. My parents purchased that and I spent a lot of my teenage years planting 1,000 trees. So they are, they're really big nature lovers. Mum spent years on the Koala Council out there. And I spent a lot of my young years just learning about conservation and the meaning of that. And then at some point, my parents said to the family that they were going to have to sell it. And so my sister and I thought that would be a colossal loss for the area, but also maybe for greater tourism if we don't do something. Weddings seemed like the easiest thing because I wanted to get married out there when I was younger. So I thought, well, if I want to get married out there, surely others do. My sister thought the same. So, we spent the better part of 4 years getting a development approval and getting that through council and continuing to plant trees. It's major. Yeah.
Did you have to do anything like that for here, or was it all still just kind of handed over from
Joel, that's a refinement we learnt by something with the DA. There's your first tip if you want to do a venue. Don't go through that DA process if you don't have to.
Yes, for sure.
It's hard.
Yep.
You have to really want to fight for it.
Yep.
So Eco Studio, thankfully, as you know, you've shot weddings here in the past.
Yep.
It already had its approval. It was already a wedding venue, so a lot easier because we could just walk in the door and make it pretty.
Yeah. Okay, beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay, and then so lodging options and everything that you have now.
Yes.
I don't remember there being like lodging here back then.
All were here.
Oh wow.
So Kwila Lodge has this particular property, Boomerang Road, has a very steeped history in Mudgeeraba. So it has been here a long time, even the lodgings. So the building that we're in now was a school that was relocated from Boat Desert. So it's over 100 years old. The Great Lodge, which is the chief accommodation, that's about 60 years old and was built as the caretaker's cottage. And then the cabins up the way, this property used to be a logging logging estate and then a dairy estate.
Yep.
So it's had a very similar history to Barra. I think most of the Gold Coast historically probably did.
sure.
So the dairy is a big factor here, and they had workers' accommodations.
Yeah, gotcha.
So one of them was actually hand-kilned clay brick down there. So it's quite an amazing...
That's not coming down.
It's not coming... Well, it slowly will crumble down, but we like the crumble around the edges so long as that doesn't happen
Very
to the
Tuscan
walls.
vibe.
Yeah. Yeah. That's very beautiful. So we've kept a lot of the essence of what was done here.
Yep.
We've just made it more modernised and a little bit more comfortable.
Yeah, okay then,
Yeah.
cool. And so the vision as far as what you've done in here, how does that process go, between the family and then also Ridgeway as well? Do you come together and had a pretty good idea of what you wanted to do together?
So here, this was very much a project of both Ruggies and myself. So here we consider ourselves all in-house, all the one family.
Yeah.
So Ruggie and I definitely spearheaded the design process. We did have an interior designer who was fantastic, Rochelle, to give us further advice, but mostly I think we spent a lot of time in a lot of shops just making sure that we loved it.
Yeah.
And we feel like rather than choosing maybe the cheapest tile or the, the most neutral item, falling in love with something that people can feel that when they walk in the building.
They definitely can.
Yeah, if you love it, then other people will too.
For sure.
Totally.
And I guess the amount of money it takes to build a wedding venue anyway. And it's like those final little touches, they are the ones that do make the difference as well. So it's like you're already all in, you may as well just keep going.
They do. I'll be eating toasted cheese sandwiches for a while, but hopefully everybody appreciates those finer touches.
Yeah. And so you guys have started doing weddings out here now?
We have.
Yeah,
yes.
awesome.
Yes.
And how's that been going?
It's been going fantastically.
When did you guys start the first one since you guys took over?
Yeah.
Well, our first wedding was our Married at First Sight wedding
true.
back in July. So that was quite fun.
Yep.
So it aired, I think, last Sunday night.
Yep.
Yeah, so that was really nice to see. We've been waiting a long time to watch that wedding.
Yeah.
But after that, we only held another handful of weddings because a lot of people take a long time, to lead in, as you well know.
Yeah.
So really our season starts in 3 weeks.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah, for sure. And it's been a weird season for everyone, regardless. Like it was a real weird, like I was really busy for October, November, but then really quiet at the start of this year. And there's been no rhyme or reason to it.
Yes.
It kind of seems good timing that it's going to start building again from now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And the storm had to happen and we had to clean up from that.
Yes.
How'd you guys go out
course.
here? Lots of trees around.
About 50 trees we lost, which is very unfortunate because part of the beauty of this place is the rainforest.
Yeah.
But luckily we have a really good risk management plan and there were no trees around the buildings.
Yes.
Good.
Yeah.
Except for this one. No.
No, it's all fine.
Yeah. Wow, 50 trees. That's incredible.
Yeah, it was a bit sad, but they grow back.
Yeah.
We plant them.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
okay.
Well, you're used to
Another
planting
We're used
thousands.
to, yeah. What's another 1,000? It's okay.
You just need to have more kids so you can just get them to keep planting.
I've done that. I've got 2 boys. They already know the value of a tree in the ground. Yeah.
And then as far as like booking wise, are you guys trying to take on like 2 a weekend or is it, so like because you've got the lodging options there, can people check in and leave all their stuff there because you're only doing 1 a weekend or you're trying to do more than that?
We do more than that. Usually a program that we learnt from Bauer is everyone wants to get married on a Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Yes.
So we are geared to that. However, on this site, we do have that more accommodation approach. So we're finding that sometimes people want to book a midweek and stay for 3 nights or they do want to just get in and get out on a Thursday or Friday. Then we have that same sort of Saturday model where we prioritise them and they can stay for the weekend.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, because we had a few guests actually ask about that. So if they were, so say a Saturday wedding, the bride and groom would essentially stay on site most of the time as well?
Yes,
Yeah, okay.
yes.
Yeah.
And we do have the Great Lodge and the bungalow.
Yeah.
Chiefly built as spaces for our brides or our grooms to get ready with us.
Beautiful.
So they can be here from 7:30 a.m. in the morning and
Yeah, perfect.
stay.
Yeah.
Yep, no
it
buses.
helps so much, like logistically, just being able to like rock up to the one venue, the groom's here, all of his groomsmen, girls, like everything's here. You don't have to leave.
yeah.
It just helps so much.
For your side, I imagine it's a
massive.
nice,
All the groomsmen are actually there. Oh, he's in Broad Beach. He's coming soon. He's having a haircut. Like,
Can't
amazing.
promise that we're not going to send them down to the golf course, but they'll be proximate.
Yeah.
And so obviously renovations and everything's still going on at the moment.
Yes.
Any like future plans? Like obviously it's amazing already, but are you adding any more structures to this area?
Yeah, so gardens are never done. I'll always say that. So whenever someone tours, I say, so long as you like it now, will always be better in the next 6 months. So gardens won't end. However, we've got the ceremony structure going in at the moment.
Yep.
So in 2 weeks that will be done, which is
Awesome.
exciting. The other 4 cabins as well are probably about a month or 2 away.
Okay.
And once those are done, that's very much the building phase done for some time.
Yeah, okay.
And then we'll just really work on the landscaping.
Yeah.
For photography and videography benefit, I think it's always nice to focus on the landscape.
On the aesthetic side.
Yeah.
Sorry, is that 2 new cabins or is it renovations of the existing?
Renovations of existing.
Okay, yep.
Yeah, so
Okay.
there were always 4 cabins down there.
Yeah. And then how many people in total can you have stay?
I say 22 heads on a bed.
Okay, yes.
Wow.
But you got to love each other.
Yeah.
So if we need people to be more distanced,
Yep.
then budget for less heads.
Yeah, okay.
However, if that's how many we can fit.
Yeah, perfect. Just get comfortable, boys. Just get in there.
Yes, you're sleeping in a bed together.
cozy.
That's happening.
It's 1 king bed, 4 of you, top to tail.
Yeah.
Sounds like my
Yeah.
house. And then, so I was looking at your social media recently and like obviously the grand staircase down here as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think I read it can hold 100 people for a group photo.
It can hold 150. We've engineered that for.
Far out.
And this is part of that refinement process. Again, once you've done one wedding venue, you get to know from all vendors
Yes.
the feedback. You know, what do we need? And photographers are always saying, how are we going to get all this group in and where do we stand at a height?
Yeah.
So I thought, well, it's kind of like a big school photo, isn't it? You've got the
Yeah.
tiers, you line them all up, you get every face and off they go and it's
Yeah.
pretty quick.
Yeah.
So Ruggy and I really focused on that staircase design, making sure it looked pretty, but it was actually incredibly functional
Yeah,
for
yeah, definitely.
vendors
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
get in and get out.
Oh, it definitely makes our job easier. Just have a chair at the bottom and away you go.
Yeah, but then people don't feel like they're in a school bleacher either.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And also just like they're not just like hiding behind grandpa or something like
Yes.
that and you can't really see them and they're just kind of like, oh, whatever, like I just won't smile for this photo or whatever. So
There's
at
no
least
excuses here now.
You're seeing
You're in
You're
it.
front and center.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you want to? You've got a couple questions.
Yeah, I do.
We reached out on the socials as you do, just
Great.
to ask from other people if they had any questions for you as well.
Sure.
And so there was a fair few that came through, which was nice to hear.
Yeah. So first one was how many guests can we have at a wedding here?
Standing would be hundreds,
Mm-hmm.
but seated would be up to 150.
Yeah,
Oh,
cool.
wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a large amount.
Yeah, so cocktail parties, really, we can vary up.
Yeah.
Because once we move all of the furniture out, as you can see, this room is
It's
quite large.
huge, yes, massive.
Yeah, so you could easily have 200, 250.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, most people want to sit down for a wedding, so my answer would be 150.
Yeah, 150.
How many? What would be the average that you usually see here?
Usually about 100.
Okay, yep.
Yeah, 120, especially if we're dealing with European families
Yep.
or people from other cultures. Australian weddings generally between 80 to 100.
Okay, then.
Yeah.
Yep. And sorry, I'll butt in with
No,
one
you're good.
second. As far as like couples that coming here, do you find it is a lot of Gold Coast based and Brisbane based, or is it more of becoming like a destination where people are coming here for Kwila?
Yeah, so that has actually been a surprise and delight for me. A lot of Gold Coast couples.
Oh, amazing.
At Bower, we see maybe 10% of our couples from the Gold Coast.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then it's from everybody everywhere else in the state, other states in the world.
Yeah.
But here, I have met so many locals. That's been super lovely
beautiful.
for me. Yeah, just to
Perfect.
connect with
And
locals.
especially they can just come down and see the venue and have a walkthrough with you as well.
Yes.
And touch base a lot easier.
Yes, and it is easy to pop in. So actually just yesterday I had one of my beautiful couples drop in unannounced and it was lovely because they live nearby. It was nice and easy. So that is a real pro, I think, in Kwila's direction.
Yeah, for sure.
Beautiful. Because would there be many other venues around here that would be able to hold 150 like for a sit down wedding?
There are a few venues in the area. I'm not actually sure of their capacity.
Okay, yeah.
So I wouldn't want to quote that,
Yeah.
but I do think we're one of the larger
Yeah.
venues
I feel
around.
like it's a party.
We
at
tried to make
150
sure.
people,
Yeah.
that's definitely a party.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next one is do you offer different ceremony location options?
Yeah, great question. We do. We have 3 main greater grounds options. So one is what I would call a garden ceremony, so at the backyard of the Great Lodge. Beautiful grassy section, again quite large, so we can accommodate up to the 150 out there.
Yep.
We provide that furniture, but you've got a nice creekscape and it feels a little bit more like a hug. Then we've got I call it the bottle tree ceremony. So it is featured in front of the bottle tree.
Yep.
So it's more like Tuscan style, but you've got this great big Australian tree in front. So that's quite nice.
Yep.
And then we have I'd say the more intimate outdoor option, which is by the sandstone at the base of the staircase.
Yeah.
That is also a really nice one, but more for intimate weddings. Then, of course, we have the ceremony structure. So we're calling that the pavilion.
Yep.
And I think the pavilion's great because the bays are very high. It goes sort of up to 5 meters. You do feel like you're in the open air.
Yep.
It has inbuilt bench seating. So you still feel like you're outdoors, but no sun, no rain.
Yeah, amazing.
Very comfortable.
Yeah, for sure. Especially from our point of view, like video and everything like that, to have, it's sheltered and consistent light across everything.
That's it.
Yeah.
And then, you've definitely got like the darker trees behind it. So even the background's not blown out.
Yeah.
It's looking very nice down there.
Yeah. So anyone listening to this and thinking, oh, yes, I'll go and do these. Yes, dappled light is an issue in two of those locations.
Yep.
But for the pavilion and also the garden ceremony, it is in full shade by that afternoon. So no dappled light.
Love it.
Yeah.
And then we kind of touched on this one, but can me and my bridesmaids stay on site if this is possible?
Yes.
And so is that included in the booking, or is there separate
It is an
options
upgrade,
available?
yes. And ladies, you can either come and bring the girls just for the day, so getting ready here. I think that's a really great one to do and highly encouraged. And then quite often we see that happen with the girls during the day, and then our couple stays the night in the same location, and the girls maybe head down the road.
Cool. And the girls, they would come at 7:30 or something, like you said. They would get here nice and early and start that makeup.
Yes, exactly. And they can do their own breakfast, or we can do their breakfast. They can do their own mimosas. We can do their mimosas. All the options.
We can drink them too.
Yeah, we can join. That's happening. Yeah.
And just based on one, because we had one on the weekend, do they get access? Like if they get access to the lodges and stuff, do they have them for the day, or is there clock in, clock out times?
So with our two that are designed for getting ready, Great Lodge and Bungalow, they get them for the day. So if they're staying overnight, we'll always provide early check-in at those two locations. The other three are standard check-in. Our standard check-in is 1 p.m, obviously ahead of a ceremony time.
Cool. Yeah, because essentially they're like the accommodation.
Exactly. So more for guests or someone coming, all they need to do is, get the dress on.
Yeah, totally.
I got this other question, actually not in your messages. People asking about, so when they book at Kwila, as far as chairs, cutlery, tables, all that kind of thing, do they need to bring in a planner, or is that kind of all included here?
That's a great question, and planner is the word of caution. So we provide event coordination service. We provide also all the base items. I call them the fundamentals. So there's fundamentals and frills. Kwila provides all of those fundamentals: tables, chairs, cutlery, waitstaff, event coordination. I consider that a fundamental. So we're here to support our couples throughout the process and then on the day. What we don't provide is wedding planning service. We can, it's an upgrade, but there's a big distinction. So wedding planning, you don't lift a finger. They do absolutely everything, book everybody. You just give them your bundle of money.
Yes, exactly.
They'll divvy it up for you and then you just tick. We don't take that on lightly. You know, I think wedding planning is quite a serious gig. So we do like them to opt in for that service, which we're very happy to provide. But I think for most clients, wedding planning they don't find necessary once they've got the support of the coordinator.
For sure.
But people who maybe live overseas or work really, high-paced jobs, I think, wedding planning is a great service.
Some people are just stressed out of their mind, and planning something is just I don't care. This is what I want. I love this. This is what I love. I love these colours, blah, blah, blah. Just make it for me.
And this is where I think actually most of our couples tend to fall into the styling territory because everything you've just said, that stylist does. I think that's the part that I've found a lot of our couples get stressed by, making those finer choices around what the day looks like. And I think that is actually delivered brilliantly by a stylist.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so is that something would happen more often, like rather than like typical, like percentage wise, more people would be hiring like say the florist / stylist?
Yes.
And they're more so than a planner here?
Yes.
Okay.
When we have our weddings that are planned, almost always those clients are coming from out of town
Yep.
or overseas,
Yep.
or they work, one partner's deployed and the other one's doctor in a hospital in ED, or, really high-paced jobs. That's I'm generalising,
Yeah, yeah.
so
Yeah, of
please
course.
don't crucify me if someone's listening and thinking I have one and that's not me. Amazing. I also think they're amazing, but I'm just generalising, yes. But we do see more commonly a lot of our couples lean heavily on florals and stylists to make a lot of those choices
Yeah,
for
for
them.
sure. Especially because like social media and like Pinterest and all that can blow everything out of the water. And you're like, I want this. And then it's like they have no real like concept of like how much that's going to cost or whatever. So like having someone that's like, okay, like what's your budget? Okay, that's not achievable at all.
Yes.
Or be like, I don't know, like you've undercut yourself so much. We can do way more with that kind of budget.
Oh, Pinterest. It's a mine.
It's a beautiful tool.
It's a
but-
beautiful mine.
Yeah.
And I always say to anybody who says, I want this, and I look at it and I'm like, whatever number you have in your head, double it.
Or triple, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then if you're okay with that, we love it. Your photos are going to be
Yeah, exactly.
incredible.
Yeah.
But it's a lot.
Yeah.
And would you have, I guess you'd have recommended stylists that you work with a fair bit here?
We do.
Yeah, okay, perfect.
Yes.
Yeah. So you wouldn't essentially take on the styling aspect yourselves. You would be like, well, we have, if they're going to plan through you, we're going to go through this stylist to start styling things.
Yeah. So essentially, we do have an in-house stylist, but we also have. We work a lot with the romantics, and they're probably more commonly our stylists. But we welcome a lot of vendors in here. We're not exclusive to anybody.
I was going to say, is there anyone that you don't have to name and shame, but like, is there people like companies that you won't work with, or you haven't come across that?
I wish my face wasn't on camera when you asked me that question.
So maybe there's a few.
I can't lie.
Cut to me for the
Oh.
So yes, there is.
Oh, that's an awkward question.
Okay,
yes,
that's right.
look,
Yep.
yes, we call it our very, very, very tiny blacklist.
Yep.
And it exists for a reason to protect our clients.
Yep.
And there is maybe half a dozen people on there in the 6 years we've been doing weddings.
Yeah.
And they're from all categories. It's
Yeah,
not
yeah, yeah,
it's not
exactly.
styling and florals. There's
Yeah,
no
yeah.
one in that category.
Yeah.
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 And like what for people booking someone of a service, if it's a florist, it's a photographer or whatever it is, like what are those like kind of key things? Again, you don't have to name anyone, but like what are those things that you're like, this is why they earned the blacklist?
Yeah. Did you get a red flag from these people prior to the wedding?
Honestly, to get on the blacklist, I always just say to the client, they've ruined somebody's wedding.
Yeah, fair
It's
enough.
that serious.
It's like lost photos, like serious
It's
stuff.
very serious.
Yeah, okay.
And we just can't, we live and breathe our reviews and
Yep,
client
exactly.
feedback, and we take our job really seriously, even though we're just the venue.
It reflects totally
it
on you.
reflects on us.
Definitely.
Every vendor reflects on us, which
Yep.
is why we also take our recommended suppliers
Yeah.
seriously.
Yep.
There are lots of people contact us and say, "Oh, can we go on your recommended suppliers list?" I'm like, "That's lovely. I don't know you. I've never seen your work.
Exactly.
I would like to know you
Yeah, exactly.
as we do."
Yeah.
So, yes, it's something very serious, and it's why in our contract, a lot of clients see our contract and think, "Oh, we don't want to have to run every vendor past you."
Yep.
The only reason that's in there is to protect you from these six
Yeah.
people in the world that we've said no to.
Exactly. Yeah. And then we'll highly just like, look, maybe not because of
Yeah,
this
so
reason.
we don't say it.
Yeah.
I was gonna
Except
say,
now
do you-
I've said it here. Everyone knows now.
You flat out say like no? Or,
for
or is
those
it like,
six.
Or is
For
it
those
like,
six.
they've done this and this and this?
We
or is
say
it just
no because
amazing.
it's not for us, it's for them.
Yeah. Yep.
If we said yes, I, in good conscience, could not let that happen to somebody.
Good on you. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't think there'd be
That's
many
why I get
people.
no work here.
That's what I told you, Joel. You got to put the memory card in the camera.
You're too busy at Bauer.
Yeah, true. Tell me about it.
And then I've got one more. Are there any noise restrictions or curfews here?
That's a great question. Everyone has a noise restriction. So if anybody says they don't, they're lying.
Yeah.
Ours is really good though, and we have put a lot of soundproofing into this building, so we can
1,000
welcome.
trees.
Yeah. Oh, we have to plant more. All of the band members are welcome. We just say don't bring saxophone and drums, and that's more the protection of, again, the experience. It's not so much the noise restriction. Then the curfew is 11.
Oh, cool.
Oh, awesome.
I feel like that's pretty good for the Gold Coast. There's a lot
quite good.
there's a lot of 10 o'clocks around.
Yes.
For sure. And especially like I'm down in Byron, there's a lot of like 10 o'clock, you're out and there's no music.
And this shows you the age of a venue. So this is a very old venue. So back when Gold Coast was a lot smaller and less people lived around here.
Yep, definitely.
So yes, we benefit.
So if
from
we're ever
that.
buying a wedding venue, make sure we buy an old one.
Check the DA, check the hours, check the noise restriction. Yeah.
If you and Rijo haven't bought it already.
Exactly. Yeah. Any good DA will be coming for it. Yeah.
And is there a specific decibel limit that the like DJ or someone can reach, or?
Yeah, so there is. We always like to stick around 90 just for guest comfort.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially because as you can feel in this space, we're in a beautiful old enclosed space. So 90 in here probably sounds like 100 to the ear.
For sure.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, okay, cool. What was I going to ask about next? Was the, team-wise. So obviously you're all a big family.
Yes.
On, say, a wedding day, the team that you would have here, what does that look like?
Yes, so we have phenomenal staff. We have wonderful event coordinators who've been working with us for years and just know events inside and out, both administratively, who you deal with in advance of your day, and then obviously on the day itself they're here. We also have phenomenal catering team. Just veteran, chefs.
They're delicious.
Just fantastic. I'm just going to give them props. The sister restaurant, Little Truffle, just was awarded 2 hats recently.
Oh, amazing.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So, Daniel and his team are phenomenal.
I had no idea. They're linked, are they?
They are.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. So the Ridgeway Group owns Little Truffle, Bin 232 at Pacific Fair.
Yep.
And I always say for our couples to go over there.
Yeah,
we
exactly.
actually give them a voucher to go to Little Truffle and taste the food because a lot of our menu,
Similar.
it crosses over. There's quite a bit of crossover. And then Bin 232 has a lot of our canapes. And so if you want to go and see Event Cinema movie, go to Bin 232.
Yeah.
Try the arancini, won't be sorry. Yeah.
I was going to ask about that as well, like food options. Is it like obviously Ridgeway are amazing. Is there kind of like a set menu of this is kind of what we do for our weddings, or this might be more for Ridgeway, but
No, that's okay. Yeah, of course. No, we're all one big team here, so I'm happy to answer. I think the answer is we always have to provide a menu. So we do have quite an extensive menu of choice. We do feasting style, so family style throughout the table. We do alternate drop and then cocktail party, as we've said. So we have menus for all three. But I always say, that's the beautiful part about, Daniel and his team, we are flexible because we understand it's one day and Australia is such a broad culture. We have people from everywhere. I'm half Polish. So, there's things that you have to have at your wedding if you're from, a different background. So we acknowledge that. And I always give props to Daniel's team. They can do almost anything. I don't think we've had to say no to a client yet for a dish, which I think is quite phenomenal.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
With all the different food groups that we can't have at the moment.
Yeah. Well, that's it. And, we are more and more often getting those inquiries for a full vegan wedding or, full gluten-free wedding or
Carnivore diet, all of it.
All of it. Oh, gosh, that'll be the day. I'm sure it'll happen. Oh, all the beautiful colour will be gone from the table. It'll just be brown.
Just meat, just slabs of meat.
Yeah, brown and white. Oh,
It's just a Viking wedding.
does not sound appetising. But look, each to their own. Sorry, any carnivores out there. I'm not nailing
You
this,
just
am
lost
I?
10% of your clients. The Gold Coast Carnival clients, they're gone.
It's essentially my husband.
We could lose that.
Oh, dear.
Oh, that's awesome.
He needs all that energy for all the building and planting and everything,
Yeah, that's it. Oh, dear.
Yep. This is just more so for a video and photo perspective. As far as like audio when we're inside here,
Yes.
like speeches and everything, is it usually a DJ will bring everything, speakers and everything that we would get a line out, or is there a house system in here?
Another great question, and both options.
Yeah,
so
okay.
we do have an in-house system, and it is portable, and it's for the purpose of, if maybe someone hasn't brought the best gear and you might want to have another line in somewhere, we've got Bose out the back.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Maybe we'll have that for the celebrants
Another
as well.
refinement. You're welcome. So we do. We have a great Bose system that you can plug into.
Amazing.
However, our event coordinators try very hard to make sure that vendors are bringing appropriate equipment and
I
that you can
can't
plug
harp
in.
on it enough. Like we shoot so many weddings where you rock up and you're like, cool, I'm going to get a line out for the speeches. And you're like, same thing. We're like telling our clients that we're like going to deliver them a ceremony film or a speeches film. And then you get there and there's like no line out and you're like, cool, like I've got other options, but like nothing beats like a line out. Like I've got
100%.
like recorders and I've got a lab that goes on the groom, but nothing's great like it.
In comparison.
Yeah, it's frustrating when we invest so much money in like all of our equipment, making the best day possible, making sure that everything's of the highest standard.
Yes.
And then you rock up and you're like, I don't want to like kind of crap on celebrants, but it's just like you're there for 30 minutes. It's like just, I don't know how much.
Joel's got his own speaker now. He brings in the car.
Oh,
and he's
I'm almost tempted to.
like, just
I'm
bring
almost
it.
tempted to.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I don't know how much an actual speaker like PA system costs, but like I'm sure it can't be more than a couple thousand.
You'll be very happy to know that we have recently gone through our recommended suppliers list, and all celebrants have great gear.
Amazing.
And we highly advocate everybody to pick from our celebrant list,
perfect.
who I think you're interviewing one of them later.
Oh, amazing. Okay, cool.
But I think, you're right. And these are the things that the client, our beautiful couples shouldn't have to be thinking about.
Exactly.
So I would give that advice, lean on your event coordinators and lean on your good vendors to tell you what's needed and let them talk to each other. Don't worry about it.
I just thought it would have been like a common practice thing. Again, if it's a side hustle or something, I can kind of understand. But if it's like your main gig, this is what you do for a living, I would have thought you'd invest in your craft. And then like the couple from the weekend, I was like, they asked, like how do we make sure we get good audio? And I was like, like I've got all the options, I've got backups and, redundance and whatever. But it doesn't matter. You've got a good celebrant. And then we rocked up and there was no line out. I was like, okay, sick. Like there isn't an option then.
And like you're saying with you reflecting on your venue, and obviously you have this in-house PA system and everything as well now.
Yes.
It's the same thing, and then it reflects on us that we don't have the best audio for you, and we're like it's we've got all the backups just in case, but it's still out of our hands as well. So it's good that you're kind of providing that.
Yeah.
Just to like tick off another thing that could go wrong. Now it can't because I've got that.
We have a long list of all the things that could go wrong, and we try and put double ticks against, what can we do to solve it? Because that is, I think, the responsibility of a venue and a good event coordinator.
Yep.
We are there as your problem solvers on the day, and we don't want to bother our couples with these what seems trivial to them at the time, which obviously fundamentally is not, because good audio is what they're paying for.
Yeah.
So, I think all of these problems, they exist, but not here.
Yeah, okay.
we
That's
won't
great.
have that. Yeah.
It's great that you've even thought about that. Like I wouldn't think that a venue thinks about that, if that makes sense.
Not all venues think about that.
Yeah.
I think this comes down to a broader philosophical thing that I like to think about with weddings is some people treat weddings, as you just mentioned, Joel, some people think, weddings, side hustle, I'll get some extra money on the weekend.
Yeah.
I think that's not a great approach to what a wedding should be about, which is about love, passion, family, and we're there to do
lifelong commitment.
A lifelong commitment. It's actually a very serious
beautiful
thing.
yeah.
Births, deaths, and marriages. They're three very serious pillars of our society, and I think that good vendors will take it just as seriously. And
Totally.
I've been doing this for 13 years and we've still got photos from our very first wedding. Like we've still got backups of it because there's going to be, as sad as it is, like someone's going to pass away or something like that.
Yeah.
And like it is super serious and like we've never had a sick day, but you speak to other people and they're like, we'll just get someone else to shoot it or something. Like, you can't do that. Like that's not a thing.
Yeah.
And I guess the good thing is like people like that will burn out quickly.
Yes.
Like if it's just about the money or if it's just about the side hustle, it's not going to, the longevity isn't there.
Yes.
They're going to be done.
Yeah. That's very true.
Which I guess is the good part of it.
And it'll probably show on their work as well.
Yeah,
like doesn't matter whether they're a photographer or a celebrant or
sure.
whatever. Like you're going to be able to tell that they're kind of not really taking it seriously.
For sure.
think.
Yep. We also might put a few reels together because you're part of the open day coming up on Sunday.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so we'd love to put some reels together prior to that to kind of build some hype.
Great.
So can you tell us a little bit about what's happening here on Sunday and what should people expect when they come here
Definitely.
on
Yes.
Sunday to see you?
I think that Sunday is going to be the pavilion's time to shine. I think a lot of people have been waiting for that because we have been missing it in all of the appearances that Kwila has made for people until now. So I think there's going to be quite a good installation down there and lots of great vendors to talk to. Everyone can expect to have a great time talking to great people, first of all, getting some good ideas. And there'll be beautiful sets everywhere, but principally, I think hopping on a group tour here would be, I think, really worthwhile because we are a new venue and people aren't yet used to the format because they haven't seen heaps and heaps of reels yet
for sure.
from this particular venue. I think popping onto a group tour and just taking that, hearing that information, ideally, now I'm going to say this and then everyone's going to go for the morning and then the afternoon won't be full, but try get it in the morning and then that way you have good ideas in your head already when you talk to the vendors.
Yes.
Because sometimes if this is your first open day, you're going to be hit with information and retaining it is going to be difficult.
Yeah, definitely bombarded from every vendor and everything like that.
Yeah.
Will there be arancini balls and mimosas or what are we doing?
I can't promise what,
Just for the vendors.
but there will be some good snacks and good drinks.
Good snackies. I love it. Beautiful.
And then I'm assuming you've probably kind of got like most vendors covered here. Like there's going to be someone like when people are coming out here, there's going to be celebrants that you recommend and all that sort of stuff.
Celebrant's going to bring their speaker along and just like line out.
I'm going to give major props to Lauren Bridges here. She has done an incredible job organising.
Yeah.
We as a venue actually haven't had to do a lot except for do what she says, which I love.
Amazing.
So well done, Lauren. Yeah,
beautiful.
I think Gold Coast really needed this wedding
definitely.
trail.
Me too.
I couldn't believe it didn't kind of exist beforehand. Like it's so crazy when you talk about the Tweed, Byron, everywhere else, and the Gold Coast didn't have something like this.
Do you know, Nikki and I, my sister, who we work together, so we have been talking about doing it for years.
Yeah.
Like we should do this. We've got this. Run out of time every year. Don't do it. And then Lauren emailed and said, "This is my idea. This is what I'm doing." I'm like, "Great, awesome.
Yeah.
Someone's doing." I'm so happy. I'm like, it was more just the responsibility to the Gold Coast community, and I think this is probably a reason why we haven't had a lot of Gold Coasters at Bower for all these years because there aren't trails. People on the Gold Coast just are so marketed to get married in northern New South Wales, or you fly north, or you go to New Zealand or wherever they're all going, or the beach.
But it's also been nice. Like I've been doing this 6 years now, and I was kind of like, there's kind of just not really that much on the coast. Like I feel like a lot of rundown venues and venues that are just
For a long man, you should have tried 13 years ago. Whoa!
But it's nice to see that there's a bunch of venues getting like redos or a few popping up and stuff like that. Because same thing, like I do a lot in, like you said, either Toowoomba. I do like a bunch in Toowoomba or a bunch in northern New South Wales, and then it's kind of like I've probably done like maybe 6 on the Gold Coast, whereas everything's Scenic Rim, New South Wales, Toowoomba, like it's not really here. So it's nice to see like a bunch popping up, and then now the trail and stuff like that. So I think it's much needed.
Oh, agreed. And I'm really happy to see them in the hinterland because I think the Gold Coast hinterland is so beautiful.
It's stunning,
and it doesn't get any acknowledgement. So I'm really happy that that's happening.
Perfect. All right, beautiful. Well, I think, do you have any other questions there?
No, we're pretty good, I think.
Great.
Anything that you want to hash on or let us know about? Or
I think you guys have been really thorough.
Yeah.
I think,
Sorry, group tour, like you brought that up. Do they, should people book that through you or go through Lauren to book that if they want to?
They can actually just book on our website.
Okay,
so it is all available. There's a big book a tour button.
Okay.
And I would encourage that.
Don't have to reveal numbers, but does Lauren kind of fill you out and how many people have are they registering for each venue or just for?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Per venue.
Yeah, perfect. And so you're looking pretty busy for the Sunday?
Yeah, so we have over 240 people signed up, which is great.
Yeah.
Yes. I think a lot of people they've actually seen us before over the course of months and months, but they've been waiting to see the pavilion. Because that's a big deal, where you get married aesthetically. For all the reasons we've already covered. So I think that's going to be pretty heavily trodden. Pretty heavily trodden item on Sunday.
Yeah.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Cool. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on and having a chat to us.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it.
Thanks.
Yeah, we'll get those reels up before the weekend because we want to definitely hype people coming over to Kwila.
Fantastic.
But yeah, thank you so much. Soon there'll be a wedding trail just for your venues because you'll have like 5 or 6 in the next couple of years.
It's my muscles hurt. I can't do that.
I didn't sleep.
Yeah, two's good.
Yeah, you'll have a break for a little while.
Yeah, two's good. Yeah,
No,
we're
thank
happy.
you so much for having us here. It's a beautiful place, and definitely come check it out if you're around.
Thank you.
Amazing.
Thanks
so
guys.
much.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for tuning in to the Wedco podcast. We're dropping a fresh episode every week featuring industry professionals dishing out the wedding wisdom you need to turn those dreams into reality. Make sure you are following us on social media, you have those notifications turned on so we can help plan your wedding day. Your dream wedding day just got a whole lot easier. Thanks for listening.